is Patrick Farrell, and I'm a volunteer for the Cherokee Strip Regional Heritage Center, and this is Community Talk. How fortunate we are today to have with us as our guest, Andi Holland, the director of the center. And Andi, I know you have a very busy schedule, and we appreciate the time you're giving here to talk about the center.
Well, certainly. Thank you.
Tell us what's going on at this time. You have a trappings display or exhibit.
We sure do. The month of March is when we host our Trappings of the Cherokee Strip show. This is our 5th year.
Is it?
And it is a great show because it features Oklahoma artists.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an invitational show. We invite 14 to 16 of Oklahoma's best Western artists and gear makers to attend. And they get to exhibit 3 works of art.
Each one 3?
Each one 3. And so we've had some artists that attended every year. Barbara Jakes, she makes beautiful jewelry. John Rule is a sculptor and a painter. Harold Holden has had his sketches and his sculptures in the show most every year. So we have some favorites.
Yes.
And then every year we try to add at least 2 or 3 new artists to the show. This year we have 3.
Do you?
We have a young lady from southeastern Oklahoma, and then we have, and she's a painter, and then we have another man who does iron work, and then we have Tex Hollis, who's from right here in Enid, and he does leather work, some amazing leather work. So it's just interesting, you know, and each year we kind of look under the bushes to see who's out there. I mean, Oklahoma has some amazing artists.
Yes.
And that's the other reason we enjoy doing this show, is because there are not many places for the artists to exhibit their works, to get their art out into the public. And so that was our mission in creating this show, was we knew that we had lots of art to choose from, and the other part of that is gear. It's custom cowboy gear. So along with the beautiful sculptures and paintings and pottery, we also have chaps and saddles and bridles, and we have stirrups, and all that goes along with it,
and
too.
You have some chairs from Mr. Lamberton?
We do, and that kind of is a fun story, too. Joe has been a part of the show for, I think 3 or 4 of the 5 years.
Has he?
And he started out making this, what we called Western furniture, this beautiful Western furniture, and his style has kind of evolved, but he is really known for these great rockers that he makes, and he custom builds them to fit the person who's going to be sitting in them.
To fit the
and
physique
so
of the person
It's
involved.
wonderful. You have your very own rocker. So
It's something.
It is something. So, you know, just the creativity and the imagination of these artists is really quite something.
Well,
It has turned into a bit of a fundraiser for the Heritage Center of each of the pieces that are sold, and we sell most of them during the month.
Yeah.
This show will be up through March the 25th, and we'll sell most of the pieces during that month, and then we get to keep 25% of it.
well, that's great.
Which is a wonderful thing for us. Wonderful for the artists. They're getting their exposure and their recognition for their beautiful work. And it helps us, too, at the Heritage Center.
No question about it.
So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win-win-win.
Yeah.
I think, anyway.
Yeah.
And every first Wednesday of the month, second Wednesday of the month, you have brown bag.
Yes, we do. So that will be coming up on March the 8th.
March the 8th.
It is the second Wednesday of the month. It's held at noon in the Village Church, normally. And it's free to the public. And it's free because we have a wonderful sponsorship that takes care of all of the brown bag lectures and allows us to continue to keep it as a gift to our community. And it's sponsored by the Field, Trojan, Harvey law firm.
Oh, yes.
And by David and Sharon Trojan.
Mm-hmm.
So if our public sees them, thank them for
Yes.
that, for keeping the brown bags free admission to our community. But on March the 8th, the featured speaker will be Barbara Jakes.
Oh, yes.
And she is exhibiting in the trapping show.
Mm-hmm.
And she will be sharing about how she makes beautiful jewelry. She's a silversmith, and she always includes turquoise or other beautiful stones in her jewelry. And she'll be telling us how she got started, what inspires her, how it's made, all of those great things about her beautiful art.
And you've had good attendance, haven't you?
You know, we really have. We started out just thinking that we needed to provide something to the community
Mm-hmm.
on a regular basis that was a gift to them, that they didn't have to pay for, simply as us being good community stewards. And you know, we didn't really think that the brown bags were going to be all that.
Yeah.
And they have turned into all that. I mean, we have amazing attendance at the brown bag lectures now.
And
the church is full.
They can bring a white bag from Brahms if they want.
They can. They can, and they do.
I'm sure.
So, you know, we just made it really low key. Just bring your lunch, come, and instead of, you know, losing yourself in the television for 45 minutes, you actually get to be around people in a social setting and learn something new.
It's stimulating.
Yeah.
It's stimulating. And often the questions asked from the people in attendance is worth a lot to expand the ideas.
Sure, it really adds to the conversation and adds to what you've already heard. So.
Yes, no question about that.
Yeah,
no
it's
question
true.
about that. And then again on the 18th of March, you're having Family Day.
Yes.
Is that a Saturday?
It is. Those are family Saturdays. We do that once a month. And we do that because it's important for our children to learn our history. And when they just go through the gallery, we have a lot of technology in the gallery. And they do a lot of punching and swiping, but they don't stay there long enough to get the message. So we actually do more with our children when we get them out of the gallery, away from the technology, and we put them in an environment where they have to do hands-on learning.
Oh, yes.
And so that's what Family Saturday is all about. And it's not just for children. We have parents who sit down and get involved too, and they all learn a little bit. So it's actually wonderful. But on this particular Family Saturday, we'll be talking about the early toys, 1800s toys, and how they were made. You know, you'll be a little bit surprised because they used what they had available, and they used their imagination to make it fun. And so
creativity.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's the same way it is today. A kid gets something, a nice toy for Christmas, and they end up playing with the box. So, you know, it's kind of the same sort of thing. Your fun is what you make it, and so that's what the toys are going to be all about.
Well, that's great. That's a wonderful thing. And as you said, they have the museum itself, but they need to get a little more depth in history. And that's being, from what I read, the history of many things is being put down some.
Well, you know, there's just not a lot of emphasis placed on it, to be real honest. And so we see the value of our work and what we're doing and the necessity of it. So.
Well, and then a very important anniversary, the 150th anniversary of the Chisholm Trail. And so there's going to be a Chisholm Trail Festival.
There sure is. April 1st is
That's
actually.
April Fool's Day, isn't
It
it?
is. Actually, that is our 6th anniversary
Is
as
it?
well. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
No fooling.
No, okay.
But the Chisholm Trail 150 Festival, each center or attraction along the Chisholm Trail has been asked to participate in the official kickoff of the 150th celebration, which happens to be April the 1st. And so up and down the trail that day, there will be many events and programs taking place. And the Heritage Center's contribution to the festivities is our Chisholm Trail 150 Festival. And so that day, and just incidentally, we usually have a festival in May. It's called our Frontier Festival.
Yes.
And we just saw an opportunity because of this special occasion to move it to April 1st, give it a new name for this year. It'll be very, very similar to our Frontier Festival, though. We'll have square dancing and a cakewalk, lots of games. But we are going to have some guest reenactors coming in as cowboys.
Yeah.
And they'll have tall tales to tell, and it's going to be a fun day. It's from 11 to 3 in the village.
Okay. And the trail itself, these are the Oklahoma museums, is that what I'm hearing you say?
Well, it will be a city, it will be communities,
Okay.
it will be any attraction or community that actually sits on the trail that wants to have something special on April 1st.
And I've noticed that just to the east of the museum in the park, there's a panorama of steers in cut out from metal, and then the cowboys, and then across the creek is an Indian holding his hand up, because as I understand, the Indian, as the trail went through their tribal lands, they collected 10 cents a head.
They
for
did.
their tribes.
They collected a fee.
Well, I think that's, I don't know how many people grasp what that means, not the 10 cents a head, but the panorama. I think it's pretty unique.
Yeah.
And as touching on the Chisholm Trail, Bob Clemmy, in all his markers that he put all the way from the Red River up to the Kansas border, is a remarkable thing.
It's a remarkable service that he has done for all of us, and I hope we never lose just how important that was.
Yes.
He placed over 400 markers
A
at
lot
each
of it by
section line
himself.
by himself, and otherwise, we might not be even celebrating this important anniversary. I mean, that might have just gone by the wayside. So.
And the trail actually runs right where the museum is.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, you're actually standing on the Chisholm Trail, and Government Springs Park was a
Yes.
watering hole. So.
and then it goes out past where the Northern Oklahoma Resource Center was. I think it goes out that way and then heads north. That's really something. History right here in our community, and with recognition because of the museum, and recognition because of Bob Clemmy. And I know that so many of those markers that he put down, he did by himself, and which is a feat in itself.
It is.
And toward the completion of it, he had some help. But that's a noble thing.
Noble. Yes, you're right.
Very noble thing, I think, anyway. And so we need to tell people, and we will right now, visit the museum and participate in the 150th anniversary festival, because it's a point in history of America that's important. The cattle drives were the result of the cattle wasn't available following the Civil War in the north and eastern part of the United States.
That's exactly right.
And
an abundance of them in Texas.
at $4 a head, and it finally got to the East Coast, they were $40 a head. Andi, thank you so much for being here. It means a lot.
Thank you.
And to our viewers, thanks so much for watching. This is Community Talk.
Hi, I'm Matt Lohman, CEO of Hope Outreach Ministries. Welcome to Community Talk. With me today, I have Kinsley Jordan. He is the director of Open Heaven and Crave. And Kinsley, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate you being here. Well, we're here today to talk about Open Heaven.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people love the idea of heaven, and it being open is fantastic. But what exactly is Open Heaven?
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Matt. First, thanks so much for having me here. It's awesome to be here. Yeah. Open Heaven Live is this. It's a night of unified worship coming to the Central National Bank Center on April 8th of this year. And the awesome part about it, it's very simplistic. And the idea is very simplistic. It's just unifying the body of Christ to come together for one night of worship, to worship the King, and expect and believe that he's going to move. I mean, it's that simple. That's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were created for, was to worship him and to glorify him. That's great.
Yeah.
Now, you say it's open and to unify. So give me an example of what you mean, unify.
Yeah, unify. So can I be honest? Can
Absolutely.
I be blunt? We live in a nation that is so divided right now that it's more divided than I think I've ever seen it in my life, in my masterful 33 years of being alive, but it's more divided than I've ever seen before. And even if we're going to be honest, if you look at the body of Christ and look around the different churches, to be quite frank, there's a lot of denominational division that happens. And not that anybody does it intentionally, but it happens. And what happens is you have this denominational division, is that the separation between churches and denominations, and the separation between the body of Christ and believers who believe in the same Jesus and the same Christ and the same hope, get driven so far away that there's no communication and no hope that's of working together. And that's what this is that the hope of Open Heaven Alive and coming together for this unified night of worship is simply to bring the believers of Christ together, to meet their King, to spend time in his presence. And we believe, and I'll tell you, we have bold expectations for it. We believe that God is going to move, that healing is going to take place in people's lives, that the brokenhearted are going to be restored, that lives that have been full of just hurt and anguish and frustration, maybe depression, that God is going to show up in that place, and not afraid to say it, that he's going to show up and there's going to be change that happens in our community as a whole.
Amen.
And it's just exactly that, bringing the body of Christ together, just crushing the denominational differences of whatever divides people, and just saying, hey, tonight, on this night, in this place, on one night, we have one hope and one focus and one vision. And that's it. And it's just Jesus. It's just glorifying him. I mean, it sounds very simple.
No, it's great.
And it is very simple. That is the whole night wrapped up in one.
Well, and like you say, it sounds simple.
Yeah.
It should be simple. Should do it all the time, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
But I'll ask you this question too, because we're just now revealing this to everyone through Enid TV. You've been working on this for a while now.
Yeah, months.
And getting ready to reveal it, and we're starting to bring it to the community. Yeah. So who's on board so far? So what churches, what groups have you got kind of feet under the table situation?
Absolutely. So right now we have 32 different sponsor or partner churches. And what a partner is, I'll explain that real quick. A partner is any church who says, hey, we believe in the heart of unifying the body of Christ. We believe in coming together and pushing differences aside of what our Sunday experiences look like, and coming together to just worship the King. We believe in that. So we've had several churches who have said, hey, we can't bring a lot of volunteers right now because everybody's working, but we can consistently on a weekly basis being praying for it. So we have prayer team, we have a marketing team, we have a fundraising team, the outreach team that is handing out every week. We do a push around Enid. You'll see these bookmarks around in different places, which is just the description and then the location and time and the details on it with the website. But these churches that we have coming together, I mean, it's amazing because you have anywhere from, personally, I'm the worship pastor at Old Harvest Church, but then one of my really good friends, John Renault, he works on the worship team over at Emmanuel Enid and Nicole Salee, and then you have Alan Glore from Oakwood. You have Father John Tolles of St. Matthew's Episcopal. I mean, the list goes on, and I could spend 30 minutes talking about each one, but we have so many churches that are coming on board who believe. Listen, it's time for the body of Christ to move. It's time that we stop sitting idly by and get comfortable in our locations of comfortness and just step out the doors and say, hey, we're gonna charge and take hold of what's ours in this community together. And that's exciting. So different churches, there's actually a full list on the website, which is www.openheavenlive.com. You can see a complete list of all of the sponsors, and their logo is linked to their website, and then also a list of all partner churches that have said, hey, we're joining board. We want to show up and be part of the marketing team or the fundraising team or the prayer team.
Okay.
Matt, this thing has been bathed in prayer. We have some serious prayer team.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is that every church who is a part of it, it doesn't matter how large your congregation is or where your congregation is located or the demographic of it. Listen, your church and your community of believers that you have, that you associate to, can dive in and get involved in any capacity. If you're a demographic, if you have maybe an older generation in your church, listen, we need the wisdom and the prayer team of those prayer warriors on this, because we know God is going to move in this town, in this region, in this area of Oklahoma. Something is getting ready to break free in this place. And we're so excited. Our staff is so excited about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Kinsley, tell me, if somebody's out there listening right now, watching, and they're saying, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I love the sound of this. I'll check the website, see if we're involved. And, if they're not, if their church isn't involved yet, or leadership hasn't gotten involved, and or they just want to be involved from their church, how can they get in touch with you? What should they do?
Easy, very easy. Great question. So first stop is the website. So you can go to, as I said, www.openheavenlive.com. And on that, at the very top is there will be different sections that you can select. And one of the sections is join the team. So on that, there's the option to be able to scroll down, and you'll see the ability to become a sponsor, to become a partner, or to become a volunteer. So if you want to become a partner, if you were maybe the person of the prayer team who leads the prayer team and says, hey, we want to be on this, or maybe you're a head of volunteers at your church or somewhere, and you have a group of people that say, we want to get involved, you can go to the website, and there's just a little form. You just click on it, join the team, and click, I'd like to become a sponsor or a partner. And then you just fill out the information. It sends us an email, and we contact you within 24 hours and say, welcome to the team. We're so excited to have you. It's that easy. Or you can also contact us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and that's just /OpenHeavenLive. Okay. You can message us there or any of that. And then we also have an email address. You can email me directly if you'd like to, but we also have a staff that are taking emails and information, and that's kinsleyjordan@craveunited.com.
Okay. Very good. Now, it's going to be at the CNB Event Center, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If somebody is saying, I just would love to go to that.
Yeah.
But there's going to be limited seating.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a ticketed situation.
Yeah.
So how do people get tickets?
Okay. You can go two ways. You can go down to the box office, which I recommend just going straight down to the box office at Central National Bank Center. If you get your tickets online, there's a fee associated to it that for just processing through the internet. But if you go to the box office, tickets are $7 for general seating, which is kind of the outside bowl area, and $12 for the inside floor seating, and then the front pit area as well. And the thing with tickets, the heart of all of this has been why would you charge somebody to come worship the King? Essentially, is it?
Right.
But it goes so much. What God is doing through Open Heaven Live goes deeper than just one night. It's a movement. It is an organization and a movement of pouring back into our community, not only coming together as a body to experience God and to see Him move and to bring healing and joy and peace and restoration, but also to pour back into the people of the community and the organizations who pour into us. So we actually just this week, in just a couple of days, we're getting ready ready to reveal the 3 nonprofit organizations that the vast majority of the ticket sales are actually going towards. So when you go and buy a ticket at the C&B Center at the box office or through the website, openheavenlive.com, what your proceeds are going to is, one, it gets you a free t-shirt for the event, Open Heaven Live, but most importantly, it goes towards pouring back into these 3 nonprofit that our board has selected of saying, hey, these nonprofits believe in the vision of unifying the body of Christ, of pouring into it. So you're not purchasing an event to experience God. That's not it. You are simply making a donation to 3 nonprofit organizations that are here in Enid, and we'll be revealing that in just 2 days.
Awesome.
In just 2 days.
That's
Today
great.
is the 1st, so we'll be revealing that here
On your
in 2
website?
days. On the website, yep, it's going to be revealed.
Awesome.
And we're excited to reveal them.
What was that website again?
www.openheavenlive.com.
Okay, awesome. Very good. Now, I want to ask this as well.
Yeah.
We're hoping that this is not just a single event.
No, it's not. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Are you ready for the vision? Okay, here we go. So the vision that God has placed in our heart for Crave United, and people ask, what's the difference? Open Heaven Live is the title of that night, of that event. And the organization, the team that we have a staff of about 40 different people, volunteers, from all different churches. I mean, of all those partner churches, we have just as many breadth of volunteers from all of the different churches as well. So Crave United is this uniting of people, of worship team, of not only instrumentalists, but people who are great with admin, of bringing the church together. And Crave United is reaching out into the community to not only do a one-night event, but to pour in on multiple events in multiple locations. Because think about this. When this happens on April 8th, and the body of Christ come together in an unprecedented way, wouldn't it be great to be able to take that to another town and teach that town how to come together as churches? Man, we are up against an enemy who's not dumb, because he's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And the exciting thing is, we cannot wait to see his plans foiled and crushed in the midst of what God is doing here. I mean, it's awesome. Yeah. So it's not just April 8th, but also Crave United is looking at different locations and different nights to be able to do Open Heaven Lives, which are these worship nights, unified worship nights. But also there's a school of worship that we offer through the same partnership, Crave United. And what this is, we're actually going to be opening up the fall semester. We're going to be taking 200 participants. And what this is, it's a 9-week course that if you have a heart for worship and you say, hey, I want to be part of a worship team, I want to learn how to play guitar, or I want to learn to be a vocalist, maybe you just want to learn the importance of worship and why God set it up the way he did. We would love to have you. It's going to start in the fall. And as I said, we're taking 200 people. And what that does, it's a 9-week course starting every Monday. It's on Monday for 9 straight weeks, starting from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And in that course of time, in those 9 weeks, we teach the spiritual importance of why do we worship? Why did God set worship up the way he did, both Old Testament and why we do it now, New Testament. But then the part that people love, even they love the spiritual teaching, but they love getting their hands dirty. They love getting onto a guitar and getting on the piano and playing. So through that course of time, we teach people to play on a worship team. You don't have to have any experience at all. Okay. None. Do you play something?
A trumpet.
A trumpet? Well, yeah. We don't have a trumpet teacher. Welcome to the club.
Right.
But if you want to learn to play guitar, whether it's electric or lead guitar, bass guitar, drums, keyboard, synth, which there's a difference, it's more like piano, vocals, and I feel like I've missed one somewhere in there. I'm pretty sure I did. Drums, I don't know if I mentioned that. But we have instructors that teach that course all the way through. And at the end, the last 2 weeks, this is the most exciting part. The people who come to this school of worship, the Crave School of Worship, start off maybe never having been part of a team, playing with a band, anything like that. And on the last 2 weeks, we bring everybody together and we go over as a team the 2 songs that we've been working on individually, and come together and we form a team and a band, and they play and learn as a band. And the vision is that when they're done with this 9 weeks, they then, guess where we send them? Out into the churches. Out into the churches. Yeah. Idea. I mean, you send them out into the world. The goal is not to keep anybody inside.
Somebody else who did something similar to that.
Yeah. Shocking. Yeah. So the goal is not to keep people close. As Christians and believers, if we're more focused on keeping the goodness to ourselves, what are we doing?
Right.
Our goal, our heart, is to come train people in the best way we possibly can, help them to understand the heart of worship, help them learn the technical side, and send them out so they can pour into whatever church they are tied into, or maybe go help a church that doesn't have the worship experience they want to have. But that's a heart diving into. So that's Crave United as a whole. And Open Heaven is just a small clippet of what is taking place in this next year through the Open Heaven Live and Crave United and the team that we have. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
It's awesome, man.
Well, Kinsley, thanks so much for coming today and sharing with the community what's going on with Open Heaven. It's really an exciting thing. I think God's going to truly be glorified through this, and that's what it's all about. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Real quickly, before we have to sign off, tell us again the time, the date, and the place of Open Heaven.
Yeah. So Open Heaven Live, it's a unified night of worship. It's taking place April 8th, starting at 7 p.m. at the Central National Bank Center. So for more information, you can go to the website, which is www.openheavenlive.com. You can also go to Open Heaven Live on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter if you want more information there. And then tickets, the ticket prices go towards nonprofit organizations that are being designated here in 2 days. Those tickets are sold at either the box office, down at the Central National Bank Center, or you can go to the website at Open Heaven Live and purchase them online there at Get Tickets.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for coming.
It's been great. Thank you so much for having
me here
me.
today.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us and watching us on Community Talk. I'm Matt Lohman with Hope Outreach, and this is Kinsley Jordan with Open Heaven Crave. And again, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Community Talk next month.